climate change is a huge problem facing Australia today and in Western Sydney. It's what's being defined as a wicked problem. Now, a wicked problem is essentially a problem that's intertwined with lots of other problems and doesn't have one root cause, and also has multiple definitions. We also have to be careful with the unexpected consequences that may come of the solutions that we propose. So why is it important for Western Sydney? Well, it goes without saying that recently Western Sydney has undergone some major floods that we haven't had in decades, as well as the fires that have been destroying flora and fauna, leaving people without jobs, homeless, and needing to get government support, which they're then stigmatised for. So we see a ripple effect. So how can the profession of law help? Law is a very powerful tool, so we can advocate to implement policies on an international level, we can make submissions to international courts on advisory opinions, and then in a sense use this to promote other countries to follow along and to limit their emissions of gases. So it's very important to be a voice for the people, as well as protecting people's humanitarian and environmental rights. And we see this with our Indigenous Australians that still don't have their customary laws recognised in Australian law today, but have been going through a lot of hardships faced by climate change, as I've discussed in my findings. So what we did find in this research was that a lot of students in this topic, in this unit, had strong connections to nature. So the score of 4 was the mode and the meme. It does correlate to finding that 84% did actually believe that humans were partly to blame. So there is a level of responsibility that students in this subject are attributing to themselves for the reason that climate change is having the impact that it does in Western Sydney. Another interesting finding was to do with family beliefs. So the majority of family members, 89%, did believe in climate change to some extent. However, where family members did not believe in climate change, only 21% of those students did. So we find that perhaps in the cases where family members did believe in climate change, 100% of students did. So we find that students might be following their family beliefs and mimicking those. It may not be, independent values as such, or maybe they're not educated enough, maybe they don't want to be controversial against their family opinions, but that is definitely an area that would be interesting to research. So with Australia and Western Sydney in dealing with climate change, we definitely have some strengths in contributing towards it. Australia actually did meet its 2020 Kyoto goal of reducing emissions by about 100%. And further, what we can do in terms of solutions is really just educating more on climate change. It's not enough to just be educating students in high school. What we found from the interviews is that the student that hadn't learned about climate change since school didn't really have that much of an understanding on how much it was really affecting, how much was being emitted, compared to the student that was doing a Bachelor of Science. So perhaps we need to implement more climate change policies in work and in every university degree.